started with the mirror in her bedroom. One morning, I walked in and noticed it was gone. "Where's your mirror?" I asked. She shrugged. I broke it. "By mistake?" "No," she said softly. "I just didn't want to see myself anymore." Those words cut deep. Blessing had reached a place where even her own reflection became her enemy. She said every time she looked into the mirror, all she could see was what Emeka said. Too wide, not enough, not attractive. She had started believing his words more than the truth. "I feel like a broken mirror," she told me. "Even if someone puts me back together, I'll never look the same again." I tried to remind her of who she was before the pain. Beautiful, bold, confident. The blessing that walked into a room and lit it up. But she had forgotten that woman. She avoided cameras. She stopped doing her hair. She started wearing 2 wrappers just to feel tight, even though it made her uncomfortable. One afternoon, I walked into her room and found her crying in front of the wardrobe. She held one of her old fitted dresses, the kind she used to wear proudly before giving birth. She looked at me and said, "I used to feel like a queen in this, now I feel like a shadow." I hugged her and she broke down again. The pain wasn't just physical, it was emotional, deep, silent, slow. It was the kind of pain that didn't scream but stayed in the corners, whispering lies until it became a voice louder than your own. And Emeka? He didn't notice, or maybe he didn't care. He still avoided her, still acted like she was invisible, still made her feel like her body had failed. I watched my friend disappear more and more each day. And the worst part? She still loved him. She still hoped that one day he would look at her again and see the woman he married. But the man who once called her beautiful, who once prayed with her, kissed her, held her after a long day, that man was gone. All that was left was silence and a broken mirror. Blessing didn't want to give up, at least not yet. She was still holding on to a little hope. Maybe if she tried harder, did more, looked different, he would come back to her. She believed that if she could fix whatever he thought was wrong, maybe things would go back to how they used to be. That's when it started. First, it was the body tighteners. Then came the waist trainers. Then special herbs and tightening creams. She found all kinds of products online and in local markets. Some were painful, some gave her rashes. But she didn't stop. "Maybe this one will work," she would say with a small, tired smile. I watched her struggle with routines she had never needed before. She would wake up early, do endless squats and pelvic exercises, then sit in hot water mixed with strange leaves. I asked her, "Blessing, are you doing this for yourself or for him?" She looked away. "Both. I just want my husband to want me again." Her hands began to peel from using too many strange soaps. Her waist started to hurt from wearing tight trainers all day, but she kept going. One day I walked into her room and saw her lying flat on her stomach, sweating from a tight wrap tied around her waist. She looked at me and whispered, "Am I enough yet?" That broke me. I knelt beside her and said, "You've always been enough. His blindness is not your failure." But she didn't believe me, because Emeka hadn't changed. Even after everything she did, he still didn't touch her. He didn't even say thank you. He still slept on the edge of the bed or on the couch. Sometimes he would go out and not come back until morning. Blessing tried to talk to him one night. She begged him to come with her to counseling. "Let's talk to a professional," she said. "Maybe we can find healing together." But Emeka looked at her and said, "I'm not the one with the problem, you are." And that night, Blessing didn't sleep. She sat by the window holding her baby in her arms, staring out into the dark night with empty eyes. She had done everything she could, and it still wasn't enough. After trying everything, tighteners, trainers, creams, exercises, even begging, Blessing decided to turn to the one place she hadn't gone yet, the church. She called her pastor's wife first, a kind woman who had always been there for the women in the church. She poured her heart out on the phone, and the pastor's wife asked her to come in and speak with her and the pastor together. I went with her. She dressed in a simple long gown and tied her scarf properly. She didn't wear makeup. She didn't smile. She just wanted someone, anyone, to hear her pain and maybe help her find a way out. We sat in the pastor's office that afternoon. The baby slept quietly in her arms while the pastor and his wife listened. Blessing told them everything. How Emeka used to love her, how things changed after she gave birth, how he rejected her, what he said about her body, how hard she had tried to win him back, how tired she was. Tears rolled down her face as she said, "I've done everything. I've prayed, I've fasted, I've changed. But it's like I'm invisible to him." The pastor was quiet for a while. Then he leaned forward and said, "My daughter, you are not invisible to God. He sees your tears. He sees your heart, and you are not the problem." Blessing looked at him, her lips trembling. "But what do I do? I'm still married to him. I still love him. I don't want to lose my home." The pastor's wife reached for her hand and said gently, "Your home is not lost, but your peace is important too. Talk to him again. Ask him to come with you for counseling. If he refuses, then keep praying. But don't lose yourself in the process. Don't let his rejection become your identity." The words were kind, comforting, but I could see it in Blessing's eyes. She was tired of being the only one trying. Still, she agreed to try one more time. That night, she told Amika about the visit. She said, "The pastor wants to see us. He said maybe we can talk and fix things." Amika didn't even look up from his phone. He replied, "I don't have time for nonsense." She begged, she pleaded, she reminded him of their vows. And he said, "Go and fix your body first, then maybe we'll talk." Blessing didn't cry that night. She just lay on her bed with her child beside her, staring at the ceiling in silence. The kind of silence that comes when you're done shouting, done begging, done hoping. It was a quiet Thursday afternoon. Blessing had just bathed the baby and was folding tiny clothes on the bed when Amika's phone rang. He wasn't home, but he had left his phone charging in the bedroom. She ignored it at first, but then it buzzed again and again. The messages kept coming, lighting up the screen one after another. Curiosity and something deeper, maybe desperation, pushed her to pick it up. And that's when she saw it. The first message read, "I miss your body. Last night was heaven." Blessing's hand froze. She scrolled. Another message said, "I can't stop thinking about you. You're so tight and sweet. Nothing like what I have at home." Her breath caught in her throat. There were photos too, revealing photos. A woman she had never seen before smiling in a towel. Amika had replied with love emojis and more vulgar words. Blessing dropped the phone like it was on fire. She stood up, heart pounding, chest heavy. She picked it up again, hoping, just hoping it was a mistake. But it wasn't. Amika was having an affair. He had not only rejected her, but he had also replaced her, while still living in the same house under the same roof with the woman who bore his child. When he came home that evening, she was quiet. She didn't shout, she didn't cry. She waited until the baby was asleep, then showed him the messages. "Who is she?" she asked. Amika looked at the screen and said nothing for a few seconds. Then he chuckled. "You're spying on my phone now? Is that how useless you've become?" She blinked. "You're cheating on me." He shrugged. "So, what do you expect? I'm a man. I need satisfaction. You can't give me that anymore." Blessing stood there like someone struck by lightning. "You said you loved me." He turned away. "That was before your body changed." That night, Blessing didn't sleep. She lay next to her baby, her back turned to the man who once called her his queen. She whispered to me the next morning, "He used to say my body was perfect. Now he says I'm loose like a market woman. What did I do wrong?" And I had no answer, because she had done nothing wrong. The next morning, Blessing woke up with a different kind of silence. It wasn't the silence of pain. It was the silence that comes when something inside you finally breaks. She didn't cry. She didn't speak. She simply watched Amika from across the room, how he moved around, whistling, dressing up like everything was normal, like he hadn't shattered her heart the night before. When he reached for his car keys, she spoke. "I want to talk." He stopped and glanced at her. "About what?" "About us. About what's happening in this house." He sighed like her words were an irritation. "Blessing, I don't have time for drama this morning." "No," she said firmly. "You will listen." There was a tone in her voice I had never heard before. Steady, bold, almost cold. She stood in front of the door. "I saw the messages. I saw what you wrote to her. You said her body is tight. You said I'm loose. You've humiliated me, rejected me, broken me." Mika folded his arms. "So, what do you want me to do? Lie? Pretend I enjoy sleeping with you when I don't?" "You don't even try," she shouted. "You don't touch me, you don't talk to me, you treat me like I'm nothing." "Because that's how you make me feel," he snapped. "You gave birth and turned into another person. You're not attractive anymore. I want a real woman, one I can enjoy." The baby stirred in the next room, but Blessing didn't stop. She stepped closer. "You think I'm not a real woman? I carried your child. I almost died in the delivery room. I bled for days. I stayed up every night while you slept like a king. And this is what I get?" He rolled his eyes. "You're just being emotional." Blessing shook her head slowly. "No, I'm being honest. You broke me, Amika. You made me question everything about myself. I begged. I changed. I tried everything to please you. But you made up your mind already. You stopped loving me and blamed it on my body." She stepped aside from the door. "I'm done begging." And with that, she walked back to her room, picked up her crying baby and held him close. Amika didn't say another word. He grabbed his keys and left. That night, Blessing told me, "I don't think I hate him, but I don't think I love him either. I'm just empty." And I knew she had reached the point where something had to change, because her heart couldn't take any more.